All right. First of all, let me say I feel honored to be able to speak to all of you today on this stage here in beautiful Istanbul. So thank you so much for being here. Today, I would like to share a story. And this story is not just a story of how Kamino Finance came to be and how we have built this DeFi powerhouse on Solana. It is actually also my own story as someone who's been with Kamino since, not just early days, but before it actually began and became a thing. But also additionally, as someone who's been through the ups and downs in the Solana ecosystem. And this also makes it to the story of some of you people over here. Because, I know a lot of you, and many of you have been through the same ups and downs that we've experienced. So let me take you all down a small trip down memory lane today. As Eno said, many people, or most people probably know us for our borrow-lend protocol. Kamino Finance is the largest credit market on Solana, currently boasting over $3 billion in deposits. Some people may also know us for other products like Multiply, Leverage, or Kamino Swap, which we introduced. I'll be talking about that later too. But it actually started with something else, and it started with liquidity vaults. So there was a problem. As is often the case, when you build something, you begin with the problem. What are you going to solve? The problem back in the days, and this is years ago, was liquidity and capital efficiency. Back then, there wasn't as much attention on Solana as today. And there also wasn't as much liquidity. And the liquidity that was on chain wasn't necessarily super capital efficient. This was really early days, right? When concentrated liquidity started becoming a thing. We had a solution. Kamino Finance was officially born. The product that we launched with, the product that we launched with is automated liquidity vaults. Some people call them automated market making vaults. So that's how it launched. And this product that we originally launched with, as of today, is not just the largest in all of Solana, it is the largest in all of crypto. So we are extremely humbled by the success of this original product that we came out with. But even if we see success today, it wasn't easy to get there. There were a lot of ecosystem problems. One of them mainly, I'm sure some of you do remember this, was the FTX rug pull. So we launched Kamino Finance, and we were so proud that we had reached like 6.5 million in TVL after 3 weeks, right? It was great. We were on a high, it was amazing. Boom, FTX happened. TVL dropped to 750,000, deep ecosystem depression. And everything worked on the smart contract side. People were able to withdraw. People were able to get their funds out. This is DeFi, so no issues there, except for the pain. The pain for us as builders, as a team, the pain in the whole ecosystem. Even the people who were in Solana, they were not really sure, are we going to survive this? We were all at FTX partying. It was not FTX. We were all at Breakpoint partying. There was the final closing party when all of this happened, right? Some people like myself, I slept through it. But it was really painful. The ecosystem depression, it wasn't just that. It was also that Solana afterwards was not really taken seriously from people from outside, right? An example for this is, I work in BD operations. Back then, after FTX happened, I'm based in Switzerland. So I went to a lot of meetups in Zug and Zurich. I was hunting for institutional leads. We were trying to figure out, what do institutions want? How are DeFi funds thinking about deploying capital on chain? How are market makers thinking about potentially using our tools, the automated market making vaults? It's user interviews basically. We're trying to figure out what they want, what they need, and if the products that we built will work out for them. What's the appetite? And I went to these meetups and I wanted to talk about the great stuff that we built. Kamino, I love Kamino. We built a great product, and we knew this even back then. But I wasn't able to speak about Kamino because all the people there, they were just asking about Solana. Like, isn't Solana dead? Like, is there anything going on there? I mean, FTX just destroyed Solana. So I had to clear up all these misconceptions. I felt like a Solana ambassador. I wanted to talk about Kamino, but I did not have the chance. But I felt, it was kind of my duty to clear up these misconceptions. Many people really thought that Solana was done, over. But they were wrong. We believed in the whole technology. And I want to tell you about what our approach was during these hard times and just overall. I have 3 bullet points. One of them is too early, but our approach was keep, beep, shipping. So that was our approach. We doubled down. We knew that this was the chain that we thought that DeFi would be the most successful. We started building on Solana because we knew that the tech was superior. So we had very strong conviction here. And we doubled down. We kept building throughout the bear as well. And we always had products in mind that we wanted to build. These could have been things that we thought would make sense. It could have been things that we figured out people wanted because we talked to our users. We did a lot of user interviews, collecting feedback, etc. So we had all of these things in mind. And how we did it, basically the evolution of what we had with Kamino Liquidity, then turned into what many of you know today, into Kamino Lend. So the idea there, and Kamino as of today, over $2 billion in TVL, over $3 billion in assets supplied. It has grown into a giant on Solana. I'll talk more about certain things there, but we knew from the beginning that we wanted to build something like this. I'm not going to go too technical, but the initial product that we had, the Liquidity Vault product, if you provide liquidity into something like Sol, MSol, Sol, Jito Sol, then you get an LP token in return. And we knew that we wanted to enable people to borrow against these LP tokens for multiple reasons. I can talk more about that if you ask me after the speech. And we actually first focused on liquid staking tokens. We kind of knew that liquid staking was a great thing, that there's a lot of DeFi integrations that can be done there. We have worked a lot with Jito, with Marinade, great teams. And so we already kind of knew what we wanted to build, right? In terms of execution and how we actually did it, Eno mentioned this in the beginning. The number one thing that was always important to us and still is, it's like our northern star, our guiding star, is security. We always have a security-first approach, right? I don't even know the number at this point. I think we have 13, 14 audits or something. We're the first DeFi protocol to have formal verification. We work together with Certora. They also have a booth somewhere here. Make sure to check them out. Any new release, any new smart contract changes are audited. We know, it took us a long time to build all of this trust, right? Such that people feel safe leaving their money on Kamino. I talked to a couple of people today, and they said, I have stuff on Kamino. I don't even really check it, And that's great because people trust us. Trust is very hard to earn and very easy to lose. The ecosystem trusts us. We are very humbled by this. And security, always first. Otherwise, in terms of execution, we also need to be operationally very good because we work with the largest projects in Solana, outside of Solana, some projects that are migrating to Solana or, a project that's releasing their token. We want to make sure that they have an extremely, not just efficient, but knowledgeable and professional team to work with that actually understands the ecosystem and understands, does their approach make sense or not? So it's not just the technology that we provide, but the knowledge that the team also has. We had a couple of additional products, like in the lending market. People love looping their JLP. The JLP market is something that people really loved. And a couple of other things too. Really important in terms of our approach of how we build products. I already talked about security, right? Product synergies are kind of important to us. So Kamino came out of the need for something else, for deeper liquidity. Lending was also created as an additional kind of offering that made sense together with liquidity, with the liquidity product that we originally launched. On the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit more about these synergies. Our product suite. It didn't just end with Kamino Lend. We didn't just create this borrow lend protocol and then said, okay, cool, we're done. We created a product called Multiply, for example. I love it. It's great. You should definitely try it out. People could do this without the Multiply product. So they could do something like take their Jito Sol or their M Sol, borrow Sol against it, swap that Sol manually to Jito Sol or M Sol, deposit it again, borrow more. They do this because they want to lever up their yield. But as I explained, it's a lot of clicks, right? We want to make things as easy as humanly possible. We're really striving for that butter experience. We want people to understand what they're doing. We want to provide them transparent data analytics so they know if they're winning or losing. They shouldn't have to run their own spreadsheets in Excel to see if they're losing money on, impermanent loss or whatever. So what we did with Multiply is, instead of having people do all these clicks, now people only have to do one click. And it's an atomic transaction. It uses flash loans. And you're done. You've deposited. You're earning. You now levered up your yield, right? We want to make these things as easy as possible to use. And this lives on top of the borrow lend market, on the same core infrastructure, battle-tested, multiple times audited, so you can feel safe using these products. We also added spot leverage on top of the lending market. So instead of saying, oh, I'm depositing SOL, I'm borrowing USDC, swapping the USDC for more SOL, this is spot leverage, you just click once. You choose your leverage. I want to go 3x long on SOL, and it's done. You're done. And you will see how your position is doing. You can easily also get out of that instead of having to, wind this position down in a pretty cumbersome experience. So all of these things live on top of Kamino Lend. Another thing that I'm excited about, and I'm going to show you a video in a little bit, is we launched Kamino Swaps. This launched recently. The first iteration was limit orders, powered by Pyth's Express Relay. Shout out to the Pyth guys, great product. No MEV, no slippage. So you can set your limit orders on a select amount of assets. Feel free to reach out to them if you want to know how their Express Relay works. This was our first integration for swaps, but we knew that we need market orders as well. Most people, they don't, like big traders do, they set their limit orders if they know what they're doing in terms of trading, but most people are just going to like swap. I want to swap, sold, market order for USDC or whatever. No, we don't sell, we buy, so it's the other way around, right? Then we launched market orders, and Kamino Swap is a meta aggregator. So we're not directly competing with, the sorts of Jupiter, because Kamino now aggregates Jupiter. And if you swap on Kamino Swap, if Jupiter provides the best price, cool, that's where it's going to be routed through. If Dflow provides the best price, that's where it's going to be routed through. If Pyth's Express Relay provides the best price, that's where your trade is going to be routed through. So the user should always get the best swap possible, and you will get precise price quotes. It's not going to be just estimations. You will always know that this is the amount that you will at least receive. Awesome product. I'm just going to show you an example of what that looks like. It's not a live demo. I'm not insane, but it works perfectly fine, I think. Yeah, OK. So you enter $10, you buy SOL. In this case, in the bottom, you see it's Dflow, provides a better price, the best price currently. You swap, it's done. You see how much you earn compared to the next best route. Now I'm selling. Selling SOL is not legal, so don't do it. But it's super fast, it's seamless, and you will get the best possible route from all of the liquidity venues that we aggregate. So feel free to try it out. There's a referral program. There's weekly prizes to be won. Kamino Swap will always give you the best price possible on Solana. So what's next? I have a couple of seconds left. So what we always want to do is further improve Solana DeFi. We want to improve and keep on improving the existing product. We want to create new products that people need. But especially improving the product, it's really important to us that we also keep shipping these quality of life features. There's people who've been using Kamino for 2 to 3 years, right? They know all of these improvements, and we want to, on one hand, of course, we want to acquire new users in any way possible, pretty much, but we also want to make the existing users more happy because we listen to the users, we collect the feedback. It doesn't matter if you're a normal user or you're a DeFi fund, whatever, degen, trader. We want to listen to you, and we want to make the experience better. And all of this, of course, while remaining the safest product possible. So all of these security measures that I've talked about, anything new will always be audited. And we just want to also keep setting the standard for security. So we want to have a leading role here. If you go to risk.kamino.finance, you're going to see all of the data, right? If you're into numbers, please do check it out. And this is the last part, not just even about Kamino, but what's next for Solana DeFi. We're super excited. We're talking to a lot of institutions. They are very excited about coming to Solana. We are there to support them over their whole journey. If they need to seed on-chain liquidity, they go through the liquidity vaults. Once there's enough liquidity, we onboard them through lending. We enable their tokens, their stable coins in spot leverage, in different kinds of markets, etc. So we can take them along on this whole journey because we've built out that product suite and that expertise. So yeah, final words, I guess. It's stablecoin season. There's a lot of interesting things coming with Bitcoin being on-chain, yield-bearing Bitcoin assets. So we're very excited to be at the center of all of this. And of course, very humbled for all the trust that everyone puts into us. The only one thing that's left in terms of what's next for Solana DeFi for Kamino is going to be Kamino Lend v2. This is going to be our biggest release so far. And we are sure that it's going to reshape lending on Solana. Modular lending has proven to be a thing where we think that this will further help scale Kamino, and all of this is on top of the already existing stable and secure smart contracts, which are open source, and all of you know and love. That is pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions about Kamino, feel free to hit me up. Join our Discord, whatever. I'm here for any kind of questions that you have. Kamino is Solana. Solana is Kamino. We are Solana. We're born and raised in Solana, and this is where we're also going to stay. Thank you very much.